I'm going to start this. Alongside me is my old pal, Peter, known as the Yorkshire Vet. I know you're a big Borough fan, Peter. I watched the game Saturday. I don't know if you watched it. Another poor performance, poor result. Well, now, some people were saying a couple of weeks ago, I think you were one of them, saying, oh, the season's over. It's not over. We're in a relegation dogfight. Do you buy into that? Do you agree with that?
A month ago, we were looking at the top six.
Yeah, true.
And now, I think we're 6 points from a relegation place. And that concerns me, the pace at which we've just fallen away. And exactly the same happened last year, if you recall. We're doing okay, we're looking like a top six finish, and then it all fizzled out, and we just faded away. They said we're tired, but I think there's got to be more than that to it this year.
What do you put it? Do you think, obviously January we lost a few players, Rogers went, young Kavanagh went, then the window closed, and then Big Crooksy went to the MLS. Were you surprised seeing three go and nobody coming in?
I think disappointed is the best word there, Bernie. I was very disappointed that we let these players go, you know, and Morgan Rogers was doing okay. He was scoring a few goals. Crooksy was chipping in with goals. I don't see any of the players that we've got now that are giving us that consistency to score. And it's been proved in the last few games. We're not scoring goals. We're not even having shots on goal. And this worries me a great deal. And that's why I'm looking at the trapdoor now into Division 1. I
think a lot of people are starting to waken up now and think, do you know what, we're in trouble here. We've got Norwich Wednesday. Norwich are 7th in the league. I think they're a point off top 6. They ain't coming here just to turn up and mess about. They're coming here to do the business. I fear that if we lost an early goal, the fans got on my case and the players disappear. I found out with modern players at Riverside, last 2 home games, we've not won a game in the new year at home. I don't know if you know that.
I am aware of that, and I'm also aware, and if you believe what the media tells you...
I don't believe the media. You're joking, aren't you? The media? You're winding me up. I don't believe the date in the papers.
You've always been a bit anti-media, haven't you, really, Bernard?
I'm not. I've worked for the media. Well, I've worked in the media world for years, but I don't. They can misconstrue things.
They can, and I'm only too well aware of that with my old boss, James Herriot. But he was always concerned and almost a little bit paranoid about the media because of how they can put a different slant on things. But having said that, it did say that Michael Carrick is saying we're playing like a team now with no confidence. And I suppose there's nothing breeds confidence like winning games, and we're just not doing it. And I can see, you know, the next home game against Norwich, if we set off badly, I can see the crowd turning on the team, and that'll be very sad.
See, I look back at my own time at Middlesbrough. There used to be the chicken run. I mean, they were a nasty old bunch. Even a throw-in, they were shouting obscenities. But some of the modern players aren't used to it. I don't think, since Carrick's arrived, I've never heard boos, but in the last 2 home games I have. And I'm looking at some of the players' demeanours and thinking, you can't handle this. And you need a leader.
You do, and I don't.
We've not got one.
When I look on the pitch, even when we're doing well, I don't see leaders there at all. I don't see a leader there. And I just see us playing a lot of attractive football in areas of the pitch where we're not hurting the opposition, and that worries me.
Flatten to deceive.
We do.
Yeah.
You know, we play the ball sideways, we play it backwards, we look good at passing it amongst ourselves, but when we get to the final third, there's just no product at all.
You've been involved in the TV hit series The Yorkshire Vet for several years in Channel 5, very, very popular. What's the latest? You still do it, but I know you still do it. Have you signed a new contract? Is it going to be on for the near future? There's a wee smirk there. I see a wee smirky smile kind of thing.
I'm getting to that stage of my life now, Bernie, where I've got to think of retirement.
Come on, you're only 85.
I might look.
You're 85, man. Well, I'm not far behind you. No, seriously. So you're thinking, oh, maybe I've done.
Well, I was thinking of it, but I was summoned down to Channel 5 in London last August, and I was summoned to see the head of Channel 5, and basically got wind of the fact that I might be considering retirement. And he's a man of few words, and he doesn't make small talk. And he breezed into the room where we were waiting to meet him, and he said, "Peter," he said, "how are you?" He said, "You're looking in good trim." And I did a bike ride recently to raise money for charity, and I've lost a stone in
Where
weight.
did you do that?
That was from Morecambe to Bridlington.
Wow.
Called the Way of the Roses, and they call it a cycle challenge. I can see why they call it a challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But you lost a stone, you say?
I lost a stone.
I put on a stone last week. I've been on a diet all week. And I walk every night and I go boxing training. I put a stone on.
What?
I know people go, "Oh, it'll be muscle." No, I don't buy into that crap. I don't buy into that. It's fat. It's coming off. This week I've been in a diet.
It's easy to put it on, not so easy to get it
No,
on.
obviously this is for Christmas onwards. My late father used to always say, "You fatten up in the winter and then you lose it in the summer."
Yeah. Do you think you will?
I'll be gone in 2 weeks. What are you on about? Hey man, do I get your shit up? Anyway, back to your top,
Sorry,
the
yes.
big boy with the...
So I went down to see Ben Farrell, the head of Channel 5, and he had wind of the fact that I might be retiring. He said, "Peter," he said, "you're in good trim." He said, "Are you continuing with us?" And I thought it was supposed to be Yorkshiremen that were blunt, you know, but I didn't expect a Cockney to be quite as blunt as that.
Right.
And I said, "Well, I suppose so, Ben. I would think so." "Good." He said, "Good, that's fine then. So we'll order another 30 episodes, please."
Wow.
And the chap who makes who's head of the production company was sitting there, and he was split from ear to ear at that point because there's a lot of television programmes not being commissioned at the moment, not being recommissioned.
Yeah.
It's all down to advertising revenue, Bernie. And if they're not making money through advertising, then things have to be chopped. And certainly there's been a lot of programmes axed very recently because there's just no money. The BBC are okay because their money comes from licence payers, but we, all our money, the money that comes into the commercial channels like Channel 5, who we work for, everything comes through advertising, and no one's advertising at the moment. So things have been chopped. So we're very lucky to be recommissioned, very lucky, very fortunate. And I think it's only because we have such a loyal fan base and we get such fantastic viewing figures. I think people like programmes about nature. For some reason, they like programmes about vets. And also, we have one or two characters. For people that watch the Yorkshire Vet, we have one or two characters. Like some people refer to them as the old couple, Mr. and Mrs. Green.
Oh, I've seen them.
Yeah.
They're a couple, aren't they?
Oh, I mean,
Couple of crackers, they two.
Steve just had his 94th birthday.
I'd like
last
to have a
month.
night out with they two. You going to set it up?
I'll set it up for you soon, anytime you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like a night out
We'll
with
go
they
down
two.
to Mrs. Green's and we'll have some of her home cooking, Bernie.
Oh no, I think I'll leave that. I think I'll leave the cooking. I don't mind being in the company having a soft drink, but no, I don't fancy any of that. Talking about you used to television now, ever fancied that Naked Attraction?
Naked Attraction. Do you
You
know?
know the one. You know the one, don't you?
I know the one. And I was sitting
You ever
here.
watched it?
Well, I was sitting in here with one of the cameramen with me, and Lynn was with me. We were sitting on the settee watching the telly, and this programme came on. And to be honest, it was just like a meat market. I didn't find it in the slightest bit sexy or titillating. It was just like titillating.
Oh, titillating.
It was just like a meat market. It was. I mean, that thing goes up. You see the knees to start. Then it goes a bit further, and you see all sorts of things that I had to look the other way.
First time I watched it, I thought,
I was
I'm
having-
watching.
I was having.
If I put a word on Facebook or anywhere, it gets banned, and here's guys get their choppers out on the telly.
Oh,
It's just not right, is it?
it is right. I was having
What's he living it? What?
I was in a Chinese thing. I was eating a pancake roll at the time, Bernie, and it almost put me. It almost put me off.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
I mean, to be honest, but is there anything attractive? And I still maintain that having a scantily clad lady is far more attractive than having someone that's totally naked. And
I totally agree.
leave something to the imagination.
I totally
That
agree.
programme I found a bit sad, really. A bit
Yeah,
sad.
imagine it was your next door neighbour getting a bit so. How could you?
I wouldn't want it. And also, I've got to say,
I would.
it did make me feel a bit inferior.
Oh, would you? You're a Yorkshireman, born and bred. You're proud of it. I know you're a massive football, but take the football away. Big cricket fan. I seen you talking to that Ryan Sidebottom, played for England and North Yorkshire, and I seen you talking to him recently. Have you any heroes in the cricket world? We've never discussed this. I've known you for years.
I do. Well, I've been very fortunate, I think, because of being fairly well known in the media. One of my all-time heroes in the cricket world, Sir Geoffrey Boycott, invited me to a test match. And, you know, he's still a fanatic. He's fanatical about cricket. And we're sitting having dinner, and he had these bread rolls, and he had them set up as wickets, and he was showing me, with his bread rolls set up as wickets, on the table, how we would have defended against the Indians that were playing at the time.
Wow.
And I thought, you know, how lucky am I to be sitting in Sir Geoffrey's company, watching how he gave us a demo of how we would defend.
And he's getting the rolls up. Magic.
And Ryan Sidebottom, I mean, I've got to know Ryan quite well. And when I met Ryan for the first time, it was at the Great Yorkshire Show.
All right.
And he'd been asked, and I didn't know till I met him on stage, to do the fashion show. And I was asked to do a fashion show as well.
Kind of fashion.
Well, you know.
Fashion? You and him, have you seen the toogies?
What you saying?
I guess your mirror's used to. His hair's all over the place. Needs a good brush. Well, no, I like Ryan. Ryan's a character. Looks a good guy.
Great. And I'll tell you what, the suit he was modelling that day.
Well, no, seriously, what were you modelling then?
Well, different clothes.
Was it country?
He had a three-piece suit on. I had a country jacket called the Yorkshire Agricultural Tweed, and it's made by a company in Keighley.
You went for a free jacket, Peter?
Well, they gave us a free jacket.
All right, okay. So you went for another one?
Well, for a Yorkshire man, and Ryan went on with his suit.
Did he?
Yeah. I said, you lucky devil. And we sort of, every time, I bump into him from time to time. In fact, I bumped into him at the Borough. Because
he was at the game.
His girlfriend lives close to Middlesbrough. And I bumped him at the game, and it was lovely to catch up with him again, really. Yeah. But he didn't have his nice suit on, which I thought he would have done when he did.
Well, I seen him because you were doing a bit for the TV programme, and I came looking for you on this occasion. Somebody went, "Oh, he's up talking to Ryan Sidebottom," and I said, "Who's that?" No, I don't know about cricket. "Oh, he's a cricket lad, played for England." And then obviously you were chatting to him. But then the next week, somebody in the lounge came up and says, "Oh, Ryan, you wouldn't mind being your guest in there." So I had him last week. Very entertaining, very funny.
Very funny.
Very nice guy. He brought his kid with him. He was really good fun, good company.
Superb lad to talk to.
And I learnt a wee bit about cricket.
Well, I mean, look, let's face it, Bernie, you're from Glasgow. I mean, you know, you're not exactly renowned for your cricketing skills.
It was football, the Dole singing. I sampled the Dole under Thatcherism. Couldn't sing. I could kick the ball, so I ended up doing a wee bit of football.
Did you? Who did you play for?
Tell you what, I'm going to knock you out once we get on. You went to university in Liverpool, obviously studying your veterinary thing. Did you go any time or many times to see Liverpool or Everton? Or was it pubs, booze and nightclubs? What did you do? Let us know the real Peter Wright.
I'm a country lad, and yeah.
You know what?
Country lad.
Oh, country lad. I thought it was that famous Scottish word you were saying there. I was going to say, what? There you go.
No, I'm a country lad. And, you know, yeah, my mates, we did go to nightclubs, but I was always the fella, you know, the others were getting pie-eyed. I was a fella fast asleep on a chair in the corner.
You mean boring?
Yeah, boring. I've always been boring.
Yeah, so far. You met.
My missus has always said I've been boring, and she's quite right. I disagree with her on a lot of things, but I can't disagree with her on that.
No, you're not boring.
I am. I am. But at the same time, I love my football, and I used to go to Liverpool one week and Everton the next. So it was fantastic, really, to see both.
Can you remember some of the players that was in those teams at that particular time?
Yeah, there was lads like Steve Highway.
Yeah. The winger.
Yeah.
The Tash.
Yeah, and oh God, do you know my memory fails me?
No, I know, mine's the same. But Steve Highway, I know, the winger. Stashing winger, nice hair, up and down the flank.
Yeah, Dalgleish.
King Kenny,
because, yeah.
Oh, I love King Kenny, he's my boyhood hero.
Keegan had gone at that point.
Yeah.
And there was a lad that played up front, Aldridge.
John Aldridge. I played with Aldo with Ireland.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Aldo went to Real Sociedad.
Yes.
Liverpool, Real Sociedad. He's a great lad, Aldo. Great.
Because you were the same in the Republic of Ireland team, did you?
Yeah, Steve Staunton,
Yeah.
Ray Houghton,
Yeah.
Ronnie Whelan.
Yes.
I knew all them.
Yeah.
Douglas did a wee bit for my wedding last year, 2 years ago. He did a wee clip lying in a lounger. I can't, it's a private thing, but yeah, he did a wee bit, and so did Aldo. I can't believe, I says you're 85, he says something like that to me. Can't believe at 85 you're getting married and all this crap. But yeah, the characters, Liverpool, that was a good team, eh?
But yeah, there were, and you know, wherever you went in Liverpool, there's a phenomenal sense of humour. And you know, I'm not surprised. It's not surprising that so many comedians over the years have come from Liverpool, because just your average Joe Bloggs from Liverpool, they had a fantastic turn of phrase, you know. And I mean, Liverpool, going back to the 70s, it was pretty run down, I've got to say. And
But they'd Cilla Black.
Cilla, yeah, Cilla's obviously the 60s, the Beatles.
The Beatles, yeah.
And, you know, you tend to think, you know, I was there in 76. Well, they were huge only a mere 10 years prior to that in Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, look, you think 10 years back from now, it wasn't that long really. But as a young kid then, 10 years was a huge amount of time.
Yeah. Who's your favourite Beatle? Everybody's got a favourite Beatle.
I think it's got to be John Lennon.
I'm Lennon fan.
Lennon
for me every time.
Got to be.
Character,
But
opinionated, great lyrics.
is a genius.
Genius, yeah.
Absolute genius.
Yeah, genius.
I know you're a Morrissey fan as well.
I'm a big Morrissey fan, yeah.
Yeah,
Seen him in Liverpool last year.
I think if I went to see him, I think I'd have to have my antidepressants before I went.
Hold on, look. I know you like Shawady and all that, and Mud. You still like them?
Oh yeah.
You still got the vinyls and all that? You get a few quid for vinyls these days.
Can you?
Yeah, you can cash in them.
But you should have my Yorkshire one. I'll have a little bit longer till we're going up further.
I've known you for many years, right? I still laugh when I think when you met your missus, who's now your wife, called Lynn.
Yeah.
You really gave it big ones when you took her on the first date, didn't you? You took her somewhere to really show her that you meant business.
Well, my plan was to have a romantic afternoon in Whitby.
Whitby, nice place. Whitby.
Things happen in the veterinary world quite unexpectedly. And one of my patients, a dairy cow, she died suddenly. I treated her the previous day, and following morning, the farmer got up, she was dead as a dodo. And she'd gone to this knacker's yard in Pickering. And I thought, well, I need to have a look inside this cow. I want to know why she died. Well, I thought the only way I can do it, if I'm going to take Lynn out, is to combine the two. So I got Lynn into the car, and I thought I had a nice Ford Escort at that point. Admittedly, it was very basic, but you know.
But you put some woman in that, some buds in that.
To me, it was the bee's knees.
Right.
And I mean, since then I found as sort of reality kicked in. She said, and that car you took me out in for the first time, it stunk of pigs. Well, I couldn't smell it, you know. Anyway, so we had to go and see this cow. So I had to leave. I couldn't take her into the knacker's yard, so I'd have to sit in the car outside the building while I went to post-mortem this cow. And I found the cause of death, and she'd had a twisted gut, and it was really sad, really. So yeah, I gathered myself up, and then we went over to Whitby, and of course you can't go to Whitby without having fish and chips, can you?
So was it fish and chips that's how you roped her in? Obviously it wasn't the first bit.
Well, I don't know what it was really. I don't know.
Were you wielding your charm?
I've never had any, Bernie.
No, I was going to say that, but I was waiting you to say it. But she's still here anyway to tell the tale, eh?
Well, she's still here. She's sort of clung on, I suppose, really. I mean, yeah, I suppose, do you know, I'm not what you would call a romantic. You would know that. But
I was a new romantic, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Spandau Ballet, the Joranis and all that. Yeah, when I was younger.
Oh, God help you. Well, I mean, it was...
What were your golf coming through up this night that was in Leighton Whitby? Were your golf?
We did actually make a programme on Goth Weekend.
Did you? Did you get dressed up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You stinky old bugger, you.
Steampunk.
You dirty old man.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
And all these young ladies in in this on this scantily clad.
What, fishnet and all that?
Well, I didn't know which way to look.
The Monty.
There was that many of them.
Wow.
I was.
Flabbergasted.
It was an eye opener for me. But yeah, so I did do it. But I'm digressing because it wasn't Goth weekend that weekend. But you know, it was a whirlwind of amounts, I've got to say, and I don't quite know what happened, but you know, I got to know at Christmas, and I proposed, and I've never weakened again on Valentine's Days with cards or anything like that. But I proposed on Valentine's Day.
So whatever you did, what?
It seemed to do, yeah. Well, 40 years on, I mean, she hasn't had another Valentine's card since.
Don't spoil them, that's a secret. My father used to say that, my late father says, don't spoil these women.
I think it's good advice.
He's right, yeah, I know. A lot of people don't know, we both did the New York Marathon for charity.
Yeah.
Both of us were the charity. You had...
Yorkshire Cancer Research.
Yeah, and I was doing it for diabetes type 1, my son's got that.
Yeah.
What year was it again, Peter?
2013.
It was an experience, wasn't it? We flew out there, different flights.
It was awesome.
A couple of people, well, you and your wife, we go there. The day was St Patrick's Day, the run, was it?
St Patrick's Day. But we flew the Friday.
Is that why you were running round the 13.5 mile with Shirley?
With what?
You just Shirley all the way around. Shirley! You know what Shirley is?
Shirley is. Look,
if anybody listening to this, check up Irish word shillelagh.
I'll have you to play with your shillelagh.
No, I seen you running around. I was thinking, I know it's St Patrick's Day, but this is ridiculous. But I've got your shillelagh.
I'll tell you what, I've memories from that weekend, but I'll never forget. Joking apart.
Yeah, seriously.
It was brilliant. And on the Saturday, there was a blizzard. The day before. And,
yeah, there was.
And I'd already arranged to have a ferry trip around Manhattan Island in this blizzard. And I'll tell you what, the atmosphere was just phenomenal. And then Sunday morning, we had to be up very early, didn't we, for the start?
Yeah, we had to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning, something like that.
You had to ditch your clothes, didn't you, the one you were running in. So they went off to charity. And they gave us a bin bag each to put over us to keep warm. You were in the elite pen. No, you maybe didn't get a bin bag.
So there was me, yourself, and the lad
Jonathan. Yeah.
So I took John over because I was going to take my son with the diabetes because he was wanting to run, but I didn't know there was an age limit. You had to be over 16. He was 15 and a half. So John flew out with us. So we've put in to get our numbers.
Yeah.
You and John run together, wherever you were.
Yeah, we were.
I'm at the front.
You were
with the elite.
Yeah.
I'm with the Kenyans and the super fit, really delicate lads who are super quick. The gun went, I never seen them again. Just gone. I felt like a cat horse, felt like a snail, slug.
Well, you described him as delicate and super fit.
You
were delicate, but not super fit.
I was a super fit. And do you know what jumper? Even to make things, do you know what jumper I was wearing that day? Can you remember? Oh, you didn't see me. Because by that time you were ahead of me. I was wearing a Newcastle shirt.
Oh, that's right.
Why was I wearing it?
Somebody sponsored you to do
it. Was
that,
Chisholm, the bookmakers, that sponsored
that
us.
That must have been hard.
It was, but the Middlesbrough fans and the Sunderland fans had an opportunity and made a few grand like yourself for charity, which was brilliant, and thanks to everybody who contributed.
Yes.
But Newcastle fans put more money in, and I promised whatever team or whatever set of supporters put in the most money for the charity, I would wear the shirt, and I had to wear a Newcastle shirt. So yeah, it was a bad day really. Can you remember after the run, we were walking through the streets of New York, Times Square, heading for a place called, was it Carnegie's?
Oh, the Italian.
On the night, yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
And we're all starving. We were walking like 10 men, as if we'd, a 10 man, you were, and I was...
Well, Claire and Lynn were walking behind us,
yeah, they were.
And they were killing themselves laughing.
We couldn't walk.
You had a dodgy back.
I did.
And my Achilles were so tight, I could hardly walk, so I was taking little shuffly steps. And Jonathan had a gammy knee, and he kept throwing his leg out as he walked.
I remember getting him, and we couldn't eat it all, could we? It was unbelievable. Do you remember I says, there'll be a few poor people out here, let's get a doggy bag, because there was too much to eat, wasn't there?
Carmine's was
and soon as
Carmine's.
Right, I says Carnegie's Carmine's, that's it.
Yeah.
Remember walking up with the doggy bag and there was 3 guys waiting there, as if they're there every night. And I love that.
There's blokes, Carmine's, we love Carmine's.
Brilliant, wasn't it? Yeah.
Wasn't it nice? It made them happy.
Yeah. Looking at that, a week later,
yeah,
I remember you phoning me.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why was Peter phoning me in the night? And what was the story then?
bomb Boston Marathon. We could have easily been on that, you know. We could have easily.
I remember. I always remember that. I always remember you phoning me and saying, "Have you seen the news?" And I says, "No, I don't know. I watch the news." You says, "That could have been us."
People lost their
That's
lives.
how terrible,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
And it just goes to show, doesn't it?
I was in Boston.
Boston. You're just not safe anywhere. It's just, you know, if you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time, how life just be turned upside down.
Yeah,
Tragic.
terrible. On a happier note, you set a five-a-side team up last year. Yeah, last year. It was at Haworth, where Middlesbrough's trained. It was the vets against the veterans. I can't believe you 85 are calling us the veterans, but that's an answer. But you're a vet. So the veterans, and your editor done well, didn't he? Making it look as if it was close. Was that a wind-up or what? My mates were watching it. They played that night.
I think you're a bit biased, Bernie. I think you're a little bit biased.
No, your editor's biased.
Oh, no. Hey, our editor who edits our programme.
Yeah, of course, your programme.
Yeah. He also edits Match of the Day, Bernie. He edits Match of the Day. So
what does that mean?
It means...
What, he chucks goals off? No, I don't see him chucking any goals off.
No, it just means that he takes a balanced approach to his...
Towards the vets?
No, it's balanced, so it shows it fairly.
What a load of old bull. Looking at the animals, yeah, I enjoyed it. The lads enjoyed it. I roped in a couple of young lads. I roped in a boxer. I thought, he won't take it. It was good fun, wasn't it?
Joking apart,
it was good fun.
I'll tell you what, been on the pitch with you there, and I've been on other football pitches with you, but it just goes to show what a huge gulf there is between professional footballers and us amateurs. And I'm not saying
I know that.
There's a huge difference.
Yeah, if you get a bunch of people, good players against professionals, ex-professionals,
yes,
they know how to keep the ball, know how to kill it. They know the... Yeah. Well-treating animals, you must have been bitten, stood on and challenged. You must have a tale or two to tell us about that.
In our world, in the veterinary world, you know, they say in television you shouldn't work with animals and you shouldn't work with children.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But because both are grossly unpredictable. And, you know, the number of times, I mean, I had to film with a bull fairly recently, and the bull, to knock it down, I had to trim its feet. Sometimes the bull's feet get overgrown, and I can give it a sedative, and then I use a rope. I put a rope on which I gradually tighten around the body, and that knocks them off the legs.
Right.
And with a sedative, you've got just enough time, more or less, to trim the feet. So you've got 2 claws on each foot, so you've got 8 claws in total to trim. So you start working very quickly. Well, I've got 3 feet done, and this bull, which would probably weigh nearly 1.5 tons.
As heavy as my big mate?
Well, that's a little unfair, isn't it? A little bit unfair, Bernie.
Oh, hard but fair, yeah. Anyway, a couple of my big mates. I've got a couple of them.
No, it's
couple of
a
big
bit unfair on the bull.
Right, go and tell us the story. So the bull, have to...
Yeah, and all of a sudden this bull started to get up, and I had 1 foot left to go. And I had a young girl, a vet helping me. I was showing her the ropes, and this bull got to its feet, sadly, before I'd just about got finished, but not quite. So it has 3 well-trimmed hooves and 1 that wasn't very well trimmed at all. And you do your best, but you know, our patients in that situation, the worry was just the huge size of this bull. Bulls, adult bulls like that, you don't worry about being kicked, you worry about the power in the head and the neck. And that's where a lot of farmers have been badly maimed and sadly killed by being gored by a bull. But, you know, a lot of our patients, you know, you got dogs, they bite, you got cats that bite and scratch, you've got horses that kick and...
Do you wear gloves when you're doing all this? There's things you must...
Only when I'm doing rectal examinations.
Doing what?
Rectal examinations.
I thought you said erectile. I was thinking,
no, not erectile. No, rectal means you put your hand up a cow's bottom.
Oh,
and we do that to pregnancy diagnose them. So you're feeling...
When was the last time you done that?
Last week. And we wear super sensitive arm length disposable gloves. So they go up to here. In the old days,
Oh, they got up here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. In the old days, they didn't have gloves. They just used to do it freehand. So you'd have to have pretty sharp fingernails.
Or freehand, meaning no gloves.
No gloves, yeah. But
What do you prefer?
Oh, with gloves. Yes, with gloves. Careful.
It's no PC. It's a podcast. We don't care. We're mates. It's
But
fun.
But it is. I mean, nowadays, as I've sort of got on in the years,
Yeah.
I prefer animals like sheep. Do you know why? They don't kick and they don't bite.
They'll follow each other.
Well, I'm all for that. But they don't kick and they don't bite. They're bloody great to deal with. And joking apart, one of my favourite times is lambing season, which we're coming to now. New birth. And new birth, to me, it shows spring's just around the corner, new beginnings, and it's a season of hopefulness. And that's how I look at it, really. So lambing time is a very special time for me.
Put that lovely. When an animal passes away, do you come away from it, or you have to put it down, put it to sleep? Do you carry that, or because you had vast experience, you know, you just accept it and that's part and parcel of the job?
No, I don't think there's any veterinary surgeon that I know that would just accept it as part and parcel of the job. But I've got to say, as I've got older, I find it increasingly difficult, not easier, but increasingly difficult to give people bad news. You know, you can consider, you know, the little old lady comes in with a cat. She thinks it's not very well and it just needs a worm tablet. And you examine this cat and it's got a huge lump, cancerous lump in its tummy. And you've got to broach that gap between this little old lady who might not have another companion in the world. And you've got to broach that gap from her thinking it just needs a worm tablet to telling her that this cat is terminally ill and really needs to be put to sleep in the very near future. And giving that bad news as I've got older, I found increasingly difficult. I don't know why, and I think maybe because as you get older you consider your own vulnerability, but I do find it very hard giving bad news. But as a professional I've got to do it. And I've got to think of what's best for the animal, not for the owner. But on numerous occasions I've had tears in my eyes.
Yeah, right. I would, because I mean, I've had
You're a
dogs.
softie.
I've had dogs. Yeah, I've had dogs put down the past, and my missus has to do it. I can't do it. Well, I would bury them or whatever, but I couldn't do it.
I know you're a softie.
Oh, I'm tough in some ways, but very soft.
Very soft when it comes to animals.
Yeah.
And I've seen many people like that. I mean, you know, you wouldn't take, as I found out when we played, you don't take prisoners on the football field. You know, you get stuck in. But with animals, you're a real softie.
Oh, without a doubt. You left the country's most famous veterinary practice after 40 years. You're not going to get the violin out and say it's today with your age. You're only what? Come on. You're only in your 60s, early 60s. Come on.
Well,
what's happening?
The problem with, I ran Skeldale Veterinary Practice, which, you know, is the first practice that I was very lucky to work for Alf White and Donald Sinclair, who were better known as James Herriot and Siegfried Farnan. I mean, James Herriot, he wrote books and they sold over 80 million worldwide.
Is that right? 80 million?
80 million. And he also went on to create the television programme All Creatures Great and Small. And on a Sunday night in the late 70s and early 80s, when I was a student, there was 18 million watching that programme on a Sunday night. Wow. 18 million people. And so it was a huge thing. But to me, there weren't these world famous figures. He wasn't a world famous, he was just Alf White the vet. And
was he a good guy? Was he an approachable guy?
Bernie, he was, you'd have loved the bloke. Right. He was one of the most humble men you could meet. He was brought up in your neck of the woods in Glasgow.
Was he?
He was.
Never knew that.
He was born in Sunderland.
Which is Glasgow?
But he was born in Sunderland, but his father moved to the shipyards up at Glasgow.
Right, okay.
And he lived in the tenements, and his dad, to make a few extra quid on a night, worked in the orchestra pit at the picture house. He used to play the piano, and his mother used to take sewing in so that Alf could get a good education.
Right.
And he did have a good education. I think they were bemused when he wanted to be a veterinary surgeon. Yeah, so he came from your neck of the woods. But, you know, he was such a humble man. And his favourite night out, and he dined with the Queen on 2 occasions. He dined with 2 prime ministers. But his favourite night out on a Saturday.
Was with you?
No, it wasn't. No.
No.
I couldn't have thought of anything worse for you. But his favourite night was to order a takeaway on a Saturday night, come down, have a couple of pints with a few farmers in the pub, get his takeaway, and be home in time for match of the day.
So he's just a humble guy.
Just a normal. But I never heard him raise his voice in anger,
right.
And he treated everybody with the utmost respect, and he was superb.
So have you got his books ready? His books? Have you done all that?
His books, yeah, I read his books, and you know, I think as a youngster, I probably didn't appreciate them as much as I do now.
Right.
When you look at the characters that he created, that were based on facts, they were based on true characters that he met. And in those days, you know, going back to the 40s and 50s, there was lots of characters that he used to meet on farms. And I think it's fair to say nowadays, the characters are much greyer. They're not as
on football,
interested.
I see like a character.
Well, it's the same thing, isn't it?
Yes, the characters have been out the game.
They have, haven't they?
Yeah.
When you see,
personality's gone.
They have, haven't they?
Yeah.
And the chap that used to play for QPR, who's just died,
Stanley Bowles. Great character.
You know, and there is no characters like that now, is there?
No, they're boring now.
Yeah, relatively so. But I mean, now it's all about athleticism, isn't it? And I mean, these lads, you know, there's that chap that played for Duncan McKenzie.
Duncan McKenzie, great player.
Great player.
Leeds.
Yeah, chain smoker.
I don't know what he is, but yeah he's
big smoker.
Yeah.
And you know, you think, you know, you just don't get that now because everything is worked around being athletic. They have nutritionists, don't they? And
dietitians, sports scientists.
Yeah,
they've got the lot spoiled.
Yeah.
I refer, and you being a vet, I refer to modern day footballers. The majority of them's like thoroughbreds. In my day, they were mongrels. Do you know where I'm coming from? You know what a mongrel is. You've dealt with loads of them.
I do. I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These days, the modern player gets a lad in his tight. He's out for 3 weeks. Our day, they were walking about with Gary Hamilton. If you had Gary Hamilton played the '86 team. Hammy finished at a tender age, 24. He was so tough. He had a problem with his knee inside. It was so he kept taking like cortisone or whatever. Played. Finished about 24 years of age.
Oh, finished.
Yeah, at that age. And that's because how tough they were in those days. They just played through pain barriers and tried to disguise it. Now, I've got a wee tweak. And they're out for weeks. Yeah. I wouldn't go that far. I'm not a fan of that.
It is sad, but I also think, and you might shoot me down here, but I think the game is a lot faster than it was 20, 30 years ago.
Have you watched? I thought you said you were a Borough fan. You seen us passing along the back line? We take about 2 days, left to right, right to left, back to centre. No, we don't. No, you're a Borough fan. How dare you come out with a comment like that?
Well,
I'd love to support you. No, this thing about the players are quicker these days. Mark McDonald, Supermac. You know, Supermac.
Yeah.
Supermac was meant to be. He could have been a sprinter. He was so quick.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the game over 90 minutes though.
96 minutes or maybe even
100 minutes.
100 minutes. So yeah, you got that wrong. So why is that then?
I think it's because it's a different breed of player now, and I don't think players are allowed to demonstrate the skills as much as they used to do. I know there's some flair players, but you know, going back in time, you talked about Stanley Bowles and people like that, that were just flair players.
But Foden, Grealish, Bellingham, they've all got flair. All young lads. When I hear them getting interviewed, I actually listen and think, do you know what? You sound good kids, yous.
Yeah.
They're well grounded, despite their fame and fortune.
Yeah.
They all come
I
over.
agree with that, yeah.
I really do. I think they're characters. But I don't think Southgate likes characters.
I don't think the managers do.
I like Southgate. I'm a Southgate fan.
So am I.
But I don't think he likes characters like, you remember Foden and company and Grealish get caught whatever and was at the team and that. That's their age. That's part of the, it's part of being a boy, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We've all done things wrong.
But the more robotic now, everything's, you've got to play to a certain style and I'm sure you always had to do,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time now they can't express themselves. They're so tied down in how they've got to play to the manager's instruction.
Yeah, they can't play off the cuff in certain
No.
bits. They have to stick stringently to the. Yeah.
I might be wrong, but
No, I think you're right. I've heard stories with ex-pros that's been in Manchester or whatever, and the likes of Pep, you have to do it a certain way.
Yeah.
You have to play a certain style. You can't just put a ball over the top if he didn't want you to do that. If you're a centre-back, he'd pull you up, maybe even drop you or move you on. They're where the highway, innit?
Well, when he leaves Man City, if there's a place going at the Borough, I think we could welcome Pep there, don't you?
No, we've got Gareth. We've got Carrick. I was going to say we've got Gareth. We had Gareth the other week there. He was at the reunion for the Carling Cup team. Pity Janino never made it.
Yeah.
Janino, a lot of people had invested a bit of money to go and see the stars, and obviously Southgate was there, which was brilliant. Frank Quadreau, Boateng. I mean, I wasn't there, but obviously I've seen a few pictures and a few others. But Janino missing, as far as I know, he came on a Zoom call, but it's not the same as getting a picture with him or getting an autograph, is it?
Well, going to see Janino play, it
you
was
used to have
worth it.
Janino pictures all your world, didn't you?
But
I remember coming to see you. You said, come up to the bedroom and play a couple of records, and I looked and there was that Janino photos around the wall.
I would pay my entrance fee just to watch him play.
Would you?
I would, yeah.
Right.
I know, he wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but
Oh no, I think everybody in
just an
Teesside loved
artist.
him.
Oh, he was just...
And he was a great guy to go with football about. He's a great guy.
I wouldn't know.
I've met him a few times, I've interviewed him, and
Yeah.
he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He had the heart the size of a lion. First year I thought he was average, second year out of this world, one of the greatest players I've seen. And then he came back on two other occasions. Was he quite the same? Robbo played him out of position, but yeah, Janino was a great guy and a great player for Middlesbrough.
I mean, they all say historically, and I can't comment on that, they say that Wilf Mannion was the greatest player ever to pull a Middlesbrough shirt on. I can't comment because I never saw him play.
No.
But to me, Janino, from an entertainment point of view, I haven't found anyone to surpass him for entertainment. I don't necessarily, I mean, obviously we got relegated with Janino, and you could argue, well, then he can't have been that good, could he? But there's just something about him.
Yeah, well, the Wolf man, do you know what I think it is? It's the overseas thing we have got. Or Brazilian, or Uruguayan, or Ife. I think it's that. I remember the Brazilian band, what do you call them? All the rattles and all that, what do you call them? The samba band.
Oh, yeah.
I came from Scotland, they never had the bagpipes around, did they? Do you know what I mean? The bagpipes. We've got the old samba bands, and you got Brazilian, don't even know how you play. Oh, it's great. No, Janino's a great guy, great character. Mannion, I don't think in Middlesbrough's history, I don't think anybody. My late father, I told you a story. I came down to England 84, 85. My father says after I signed for Middlesbrough, get a picture with Wilf Mannion and send me it. I said, who's Wilf Mannion? Don't know anything about it. I've never heard of him. England, Great Britain, meant to be unbelievable. I interviewed Nobby Stiles, former Man United European Cup winner, England World Cup winner. He said, dear God, he said when he signed for Middlesbrough, because Nobby Stiles was at Middlesbrough for a short period, he says the first guy I wanted to meet was Wilf Mannion. Now, these are guys that's won World Cups and all that. So he must have been good. And he was English. And he got his jaw broken against Scotland and had to travel second class in the train back with a broken jaw to get it set in Middlesbrough. How the game's changed there.
What?
Right, we're going back to the James Herrick book. You've had a couple of books out recently. What have they been over the last couple of years? I've actually invested in them. I may have stolen them at the bookshop, but I've got a couple. What were they called?
Well, my first book was In the Footsteps of Harriet.
Right.
Because obviously I worked for him, and, I suppose in football terms, to me, he was a Wilf Mannion of the venue world. And I learnt an awful lot from him, not just scientifically, but how to look after your clients, how to look after your patients, and so it's brilliant. So my first book was In the Footsteps of Harriet. My last one to come out, to be launched last year, was Tales and Tales of a Yorkshire Vet, and that sold very well. But my latest one is...
Yeah, I want to see your latest one. I've heard you've got a latest one. Oh,
yeah, well, it's not quite in the same league. This is It's probably a literary masterpiece.
So it's
you would
called
describe.
Peter Sue and a Lot of Poo by Peter Wright.
Peter Sue and a Lot of Poo. And it's about a cow that basically the farmer calls the vet in because
The latest book, don't get it for your kid.
this cow has got a big distended tummy,
Yeah.
and the farmer thinks she's constipated. So he calls the vet in, and the cow escapes as they're getting it in to examine, does a couple of laps around the field, and then comes back to the barn and gives birth to a calf in the barn. So
nice.
she wasn't constipated,
Right.
she was having a baby.
Baby, lovely,
Yes.
lovely.
But the upshot of it is that this cow was a little constipated as well, and then let's go, shall we say, and I'm in the firing line.
Oh, so you actually
Oh,
gave the birth to the calf, and then...
Well, the cow gave birth on her own, and I was there having a look at her, and she let go, shall we say. And
She did a Barney McGrew.
Oh yes, and I got covered. And to prove it actually happened,
Yeah, it shows.
on the back page.
No way, you've not got a picture.
The farmer's granddaughter was standing and just happened to have a phone as the cow coughed, and I got covered in.
I don't know if you can see that, but dear me. I've never seen you look so good.
It's good for the complexion.
So is that something that happens
It does-
often?
Yes, but I mean the thing about cow poo, it's only chewed grass. There's nothing nasty in it. There's nothing nasty in it. It's all good, clean muck.
Obviously, I know you've travelled all around the world. You go and whatever, you go boats and whatever. People seem to recognise you now when you go. I mean, further abroad. There was a story you told me last year. I can't even remember it, but it was something to do with on a boat or somewhere to the other side of the world, and somebody noticed you. What was that?
Do you know, Bernie? It's quite flattering. It's very flattering in a way, and I never will, and I never do, consider myself to be a celebrity, and I often refer to myself as a raggy-arsed vet from North Yorkshire.
That's the way I would describe.
Well, it's true.
I know.
You know, I am what I am.
I know.
And we went to India, and we went to the Golden Triangle. We went to Delhi, we went to Jaipur, and we went to see the temple. The
Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal. Oh,
Is it worth going?
it was. I was standing there, looking in awe at the Taj.
Hand in hand with your wife, because it's known for lovers, isn't it?
Yeah.
The guy who built it for you.
No, I had my wife with me. That's right. So
Oh, that's
no,
right. Yeah. Wasn't the bit in the side of his wife?
But we have a sense of humour.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
we have
That's
to
what
have a
it's
sense
about.
of
Yeah, of
humour.
course we do. Yeah.
And I love her dearly. But you know, we're standing there, looking in awe at this spectacle, and I had a tap on the shoulder, and
Because you go out the way I'm trying to do it,
well, it was a bit like that. Yeah, I thought I'm in his way because there's certain places where you could stand where you could get a really good picture, and I thought I was about to say, sorry mate, I'm really. And he had a rucksack on, he was there with his wife, and he said, I know you from somewhere. And as I opened my mouth with my Yorkshire accent, Yorkshire vet, and he's from Melbourne in Australia where they get the programme.
Wow, they get it over there as well.
The programme goes out all over the world. It goes out to Australia, New Zealand. It goes to a lot of the continental countries. It goes to America, Canada. So wherever I go, I do see quite a lot of fans. But you got to be very careful because myself and Lynn were coming from a holiday. We got back to Manchester Station after we'd been away, and we're very cold. We were tired, and I wanted to go and stay in a pub because our train wasn't due to get us back to Thirsk for about an hour. Lynn didn't, so we started to have an argument.
As you do.
As you do.
All lovers do.
Well, yes, and this got quite ferocious because I was frozen, I was tired, and there's a fella sweeping up on the platform, and we're sort of going down with hammer and tongs, and he looked across, oh, it's the Yorkshire vet. Well, from going on his hammer and tongs, we then had to turn our lips up and say, oh yes, I'll love it to me, I'm so pleased you're a fan of the programme.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we do get into more. So the moral of the story is you've always got to put a front on things, really.
Of course you do.
Even if you're feeling a bit grumpy.
Dead right. Me and you struck up a friendship many years ago. I was living through your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I was in the garden one day, had a few animals, you popped your head over, and I always remember you saying, all right, I know you, you don't know me.
Yeah.
This is before this telly fame and all that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You said, I'm a Middlesbrough fan, I see you've got animals, I'm a local vet, and that's how we sort of
Yes.
struck up a friend. So how do opposites attract? Because we're total opposites, aren't we?
Total opposites. Yeah, we
How
are.
does that work? You're cleverer than me, you explain it.
No, don't know.
Oh yeah,
I think,
come on.
no, but
I never went to university.
Look.
I was in Boston.
I have a
No, I wasn't in Boston, it's a joke, I wasn't in Boston. I've never been in trouble, right? You know?
well, the thing is, we're from totally different walks of life. And I had a friend who's sadly dead and gone now. And he said to me one day, he said, Peter, you know, everybody is good at something. I've been very lucky in the schooling that I had. And I think it's fair to say, you maybe consider yourself to be a bit lucky to get the breaks that you had.
Without a doubt.
And I think we're all good at something, Bernie. And I've been very lucky in that I've followed a career that's been my life, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I've been very lucky to have been half decent at doing what I did.
Mm-hmm.
You were a superb footballer, and I'm not just saying that.
For 25 grand, you can't, you know what I mean? 25 grand. 300 quid a week, what did you want? I was alright, wasn't I?
I would say, in Yorkshire terms, a bit of a bag.
A bit of bargain basement.
But that's the thing, isn't it? We're all good at something, and yeah, and I've been very lucky in life, very lucky in living where I do, and doing what I did as a veterinary surgeon. So I think, yeah, life's been good to me.
So if my big mate had an accident, would you be able to sort him out being a vet?
Depends how big an accident, Bernie.
No, seriously, if a human had an accident and you turned up on the scene, you passed it or whatever, could you deal with that? Or would you know what it was? Or is it, obviously we're different bodies for animals, all the animals. Yeah, it's totally different.
It depends what it is. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of similarities.
Okay, a leg.
Yeah. A lot of similarities between animals and humans. And, you know, it is said, and it is a fact, that doctors are not allowed to treat animals, whereas vets are allowed to treat humans.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, never
So
knew
good
that.
thought. So,
It is.
Bernie, if you need any attention anytime,
You
just
ain't
let
touching
know.
me, Pedro. I've seen you on that Naked Attraction. How much does Borough play in your life? Borough as a team. I know football's a big part of your life, a bit of escapism, and yeah. How big a part does it play in your life?
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Bernie. It is escapism, and you know, I used to, for many years, I was a season ticket holder at Ayson Park, and then after that at the Riverside, and you know, after I had a grueling week, you know, I'd be working days and nights as well, and people think if you work a night on, you get the following day off. Utter rubbish, you didn't. So come Saturday lunchtime, if I was off from Saturday lunchtime to Monday morning and Borough was at home, I couldn't wait to get in that car and get up the A19 to the Borough.
Yeah.
And if I put my foot down, I could be sat in my seat in 35 to 40 minutes if I really tanked on a bit.
Hold on, you mean 60 mile an hour?
Oh, of course. And you know, I used to look forward to it. And you know, my mate I used to go with, we used to, you know, if Borough had a bad run, we'd say, "Oh, that's it, no more season tickets. No, I've finished with the Borough now."
Yeah.
And then if they were at home next week, it'd say,
Yeah.
"What time are you picking me up next week, mate?"
Yeah.
You know,
we have a mow on the ground, but we
we
still
do.
support.
And football has been part of my life, and it's been my bit of escapism.
Going back to the animals, you've got a donkey sanctuary. Where is that based? And what part do you play in it?
The Donkey Sanctuary, I was very fortunate. The Donkey Sanctuary is the biggest equine charity in the world.
Biggest what?
Equine, horse charity.
Well, just in case people don't know.
Equine.
People are from Middlesbrough. I'm for the Borough. I don't know what that means.
Equine is a posh word.
I thought it was a drink.
Horses, ponies, donkeys, mules,
Right.
asses. And in
What's
1960,
it called again?
the Donkey Sanctuary.
No, the
Equine.
Equine. Okay.
Equine.
Crack on.
You'll learn something there now, haven't you, Bernard?
Crack on. Bernard. Right, go on.
In 2018, we were doing a telethon for Channel 5, and it was to raise money for 5 prominent animal charities.
Yeah.
And I was asked to go and film down at the Donkey Sanctuary, which is based in Devon. It has satellite stations around the country, as it has all over the world. And I didn't know anything about it at that point when I went down to film. But the donkeys they're taking there, and there's a satellite donkey sanctuary in Leeds and Manchester, say, but the donkeys they're taking have been abused or neglected, and to see these animals restored to full health, physically and mentally, and when they let them out on the morning and they all go scampering out, neighing as they go, braying as they go, and just, it's a lovely sight. And I came away from the donkey sanctuary having filmed there as a clip for this telethon to raise money. I came away from there feeling, whoa, life isn't too bad. It was so uplifting. It was so exhilarating. And the founder, Dr. Elizabeth Svensson, set the donkey sanctuary up in 1969. And in 2019, sadly she's passed away some years ago, but her granddaughter said to me when we did the telethon in Leeds, would I consider being their ambassador on the 50th anniversary? They hadn't had an ambassador before. And I said, it took me a millionth of a second to say,
Right.
I would be delighted.
Right.
And they do phenomenal amounts of work for donkeys all over the world. They have clinics all over the world. They help with communities where donkeys are the main. They are an animal. They're a beast of burden. So they're often used in communities in Africa for carrying food and water.
Yeah.
And if they're in trouble, the donkey sanctuary is there to help them. And it's a fantastic organisation. And I just, as I say, I fell in love with the place. And every time I go down to Devon now or to one of the satellite stations, I just enjoy it so much to see these donkeys that have been so ill and so neglected, and to see them restored and how happy they are now. It is like a shot in the arm.
How come you've never helped any of the donkeys that we've signed over the years? You see, you're into donkeys, you help donkeys. We've had a few donkeys over the years, spent millions of pounds in donkeys.
We've had a few, and
I'm not even laughing, squandered millions in
I know,
donkeys.
we have, haven't we? And some of them were beyond help, really.
Well, maybe that was the reason.
I think that's the only reason.
I've asked you this over the years, but when King Charles was Prince, you met him. Did you meet him with him or something?
I met him.
Where was this? How did you meet him? How did you end up munching alongside him? And what did you have? Give it the big ones, caviar. What did you have? So how did it come about?
No caviar, Bernard.
No caviar. All right. Beans and toast.
But you see, what a lot of people going back. I mean, this is 20 years ago now.
Right.
Over 20 years ago, and it was following foot and mouth disease, which absolutely decimated our area. And I think Prince Charles, as he was then, I always felt he was grossly misunderstood. He was fanatical about the countryside, and he was also fanatical about the environment. And the press used to take the mickey out of him mercilessly about that, about him talking to his plants and all this sort of rubbish. But now, nobody takes the mickey out of him now about his environmental credentials. But he was truly, truly interested in the countryside. And you might say, well, I'm a city boy, and I would say to that, but look at the Prince's Trust, look at that he set up, and how many hundreds of thousands of kids that have had no opportunity to make their way in life, and how they've helped him. He's helped them a lot, and I think he's done a phenomenal amount. So I've always been a big fan, always have been.
Yeah, you're a fan of the Royals, aren't you?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're Yorkshireman. I'm Glaswegian, half up there, but you're Yorkshireman.
Well, we'll move swiftly on from that.
no, but obviously he's king now, so.
I do think as his mother did. I mean, she did him.
Yeah.
She'll never be beaten on what she did.
Yeah.
And I think it's a hard act for him to follow. But going back then, he wanted to have a celebration about the foot and mouth coming to an end, and I was very lucky to be invited, because I did quite a bit of work around Thirsk on foot and mouth, and like yours, a bit of a rebel really regarding how the Ministry of Agriculture were running the foot and mouth problem, or the trying to deal with it, and I think he probably got wind of the fact that I was outspoken and maybe struck a chord with him, I don't know. But after it was over, I was invited to have lunch with him. Not alone.
Well, I was going to say, I'd be getting a bit worried. No. You and Charlie boy. So where did they take place? Up here? In the north?
No, we went to St James's Palace.
I thought you were going to say St James's Park. St James's Park. I thought you were going to say St James's Park. St James's Palace, okay.
I went there once, you know.
What's St James's Park?
Yeah. To see the bird play.
Oh dear.
We did okay.
Did we?
Yeah, we did all right. Anyway.
So St James's Palace, London.
Yeah, and then after that, one of our better off farmers, it's always nice to see the sights when you're down there. And we went to the food place. What the heck's it called now? The fancy food place.
Harrods.
No, the other one. Oh, crikey.
Next door to Harrods. I don't. Oh gosh. Fancy food place. Hey,
yeah.
I'm from Glasgow, man. Council estate. I don't know anything about fancy food places.
Anyway, we went there, and they were having afternoon tea, so I was asked to join them for afternoon tea.
Oh, the Ritz.
No. What's it called?
You said the fancy food.
Bernie, you should know about these sort of things.
I don't eat. What are you talking about?
You should know.
Oh, come on. Keep chatting, it might come back.
It might come back. Anyway, we went there with afternoon tea, and then Lynn.
Hold on. Was crumpet included? Tea and crumpet?
No crumpets.
No, right.
No crumpets. No. I don't eat crumpet. No. You are a naughty boy. I'm losing my train of thought now. But anyway, we had that. We went and had afternoon tea, and then Lynn had fixed up for us to go and see the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, is it amazing?
Absolutely amazing.
Do you know what, Peter? I hate to say it. I've done a couple of plays recent years, but I've never actually watched a professional play in London, New York, whatever. Been to those places, but never actually seen one.
Well, I've not been many times.
Would you say it's worth going to? Would you?
Well, I was on the edge of my seat. Right. The music, it was brilliant.
Amazing.
And then I remember we had an Italian. So I ate 3 times that day. I had lunch with the king.
And you've no stopped looking at you. No, I'm joking. You're fit as a butcher's dog.
And then we had afternoon tea, and then we went out at night, went to see Phantom of the Opera, and then we had an Italian. And I was going back and this is absolutely dead genuine, and I was walking back to my hotel with Lynn, and there was this black looking window, and I thought, there's no lights on, but there's a television set in the middle of the window, and as I walked past, I just looked to my right and looked at it, and this football result flashed up on the screen. It said Sunderland 0, Middlesbrough 1. Well, my day was complete after that.
Right.
That's absolutely dead genuine.
Right.
As I sit here, I thought, today just doesn't get any better.
Fine. Good. Obviously,
Fortnum and Mason.
Never heard that.
Yeah, God, you've never lived.
I've heard of a few Masons, I know, but I've not heard of that one. Final question, you obviously still care and love animals as much as ever for the very first day. Yeah, I'm an animal lover, you know that.
I know that.
But you must still care really for them despite all the years in the industry. And I see your cat, you've got a cat and he doesn't look at me. I thought animals were attracted to me, obviously not.
He doesn't look at me either.
Does he not?
You
rescued it, didn't you?
I rescued him. He came out of a skip at a recycling yard. This fella came in and he had a high-vis jacket on, covered in oil, and he had this little bundle of fluff, also covered in oil, and that was my cat. And he came from Todd's recycling yard on the industrial estate in Thirsk, where our practice was, where Scaldale was. And we gave this kitten some milk because it was still very, very young. There's no mother in sight at all. So we got it going. The nurses got it going. We cleaned it up, obviously, got all the oil off it. And I thought, we'd just lost one of our cats. And I thought, I'll take him home. He needs to come home with me. And he just deserves, he needs a good home. Is he grateful? Is he hell?
That's cats, isn't it?
He just about tolerates me. I mean, they do say, you know, that dogs have owners but cats have servants. Well, the only time he shows any fuss is when he wants feeding.
I've got a cat. It's like the same. Like same.
And in my last book, Tales and Tales of a Yorkshire Vet, we had this fantastic photographer came, and he wanted to take a picture of me with a cat. Well, because he came from Todd's recycling centre, he's called Toddy. So
right.
I had Toddy in my arms, and if you have my book, Tales and Tales of a Yorkshire Vet, you can see this cat in my arms just glaring at the camera.
Yeah, won't he? Well, we're finished now, but talking about cats, I've seen social media, obviously you can see it everywhere in the world now. Recently I've seen guys swinging dogs about with the tail, don't know whereabouts in the world. I've seen, you're talking about cats in a bin, in the back of a rubbish tip, you know, when they're coming empty your bins.
Yeah.
Peter Wright, no, it wasn't cats, it was 3 or 5 young pups. What should these guys get, or people, what should these thugs, toe rags, scumbags get to stop them doing things like this? How can you do that to you?
Fortunately, I do genuinely believe that we are a nation of animal lovers, but in every barrel there's rotten apples, and I do think they are in the minority, but I think these people do exist, and I think they get some sort of sadistic pleasure. But I think we live in an increasingly violent world where human life now is very cheap and animal life is even cheaper. And I think that's how these minds work, these moronic minds work, and I find it very upsetting. And I think the penalties when these people do commit these heinous crimes and torture animals, I think there should be custodial sentences for them, not just a slap on the wrist, not just a 50 quid fine, not just banning from keeping animals, but I think there needs to be a greater deterrent.
Yeah, I mean, the cruelty to animals in the North East ever since I've arrived, I've read loads of stuff.
Yeah.
Throwing dogs downstairs, burying dogs alive. I've read it all since I came here, and I think, absolute toe rides. They should be throwing the River Tees with a lead weight around their ankles.
To me, you know, you and I, even though we're from different walks of life,
different worlds,
we do have a lot in common as well, particularly when it comes to animals. And I do feel that the penalties for these morons, I can't call them people, and people say they're like animals, they're not like animals, because animals don't behave like that. I think the penalties have got to be greater to make them at least think twice before they, and I think sometimes they get a sadistic amusement from it as well, and that really saddens me. But thank goodness they're in a minority.
Final question. Are Borough going to stay up? 12 games to go.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Of course.
How many games do you think we'll win out of 12? I mean, I look in the horizon, there's teams like Ipswich, Leeds United, Southampton.
Yeah, you say that, Bernie, but
they're the teams we beat.
But they go to Leicester and win 2-0. Or 2-1.
Hold on a minute, that was some result, and I watched it, and we deserved it, right?
Yeah.
But what's took the wind out ourselves over the weekend? Queen's Park Rangers beat Leicester.
I know.
They're third bottom, are in the bottom 3.
Queen's Park Rangers beat us at it.
And we play them in 2 weeks or a week.
Yeah, but...
So where are we going to finish? 12 games to go, Peter, come on. It's on here, so we're going to come back to you and say, come on, Peter, what's happening?
I think we'll finish in the bottom half, but I don't think we'll go into the bottom 3. I think we'll be okay.
Obviously, I hope you're
And the reason I say that is we have Michael Carrick, and I do...
You're still 100% behind Michael Carrick?
100% behind Michael
Because some people are wavering now, oh, what's going on, why should we... Yeah.
No, not in the slightest. I don't think he's got the best of players to work with now.
No.
We have too many players who are the same type of player. We don't have the right blend of people, in my opinion, that's been brought into the club. We don't have the right blend. We desperately need a centre forward. We need a target man. We need somebody to hold the ball.
But you know that, I know that, and the 26,000 know that. But
well, we're all managers, aren't we? You know, there's 26,000 managers every week.
no, I know centre forwards are hard to get. But if we're letting forwards go, surely we must replace them.
Got to do.
I'm not saying you out and spend a load of money. That Gale, the lad that was at Newcastle, you know, he's near the end of his career, but he bangs in goals.
Yeah.
I think he's floating about on a free. You know, the boy Longstaff, for Notts County.
Yeah.
Goal scorer, 26 from Stockton. 40 odd goals at Notts County. Oh, he's a division below. Have we looked at him? I don't know.
Well, I don't know either. But I mean, they must see that the people, the powers that be must see that we need that type of player. And we have too many players that play this pretty football in midfield, passing it amongst themselves, but with no end product. And I do think we need a target man. We need somebody that we can get the ball to, that then links in other players as we move forward. I don't see that happening. And I think we'll stay up though. And as I say, I'm a big Michael Carrick fan. I thought it was a rather rash appointment when Steve appointed him, but I do think he's a fantastic manager, a young manager.
Coach,
yeah. Wrong phraseology there.
Wrong phrase.
Yeah, but I do rate the man. I like the way he goes about his work.
He's cool, composed, calm.
Yeah.
Better yourself. Composure.
Well, he thinks about things.
He's a thinker, yeah.
He's a thinker. And I do rate him very highly. And I think he'll go a long way in the game. There's other of his contemporaries that will never make managers that have had to go up managing. But I don't think they're in the same league really as Michael Carrick.
Well, it's a good way to finish. We're going to stay up and we're going to have a good summer. Peter, thank you very. Oh, by the way, Yorkshire tea. Look, Yorkshire Bates just gave me Yorkshire tea.
Let's go and have a cup of
Hey,
Bernie.
you probably charge us, knowing you. That's it, Pedro boy. Clear already at that bit.
Was that okay?
That was very, very good. Yeah, we had a bit of fun there.
I tell you what.